Following his victory at Sekigahara, Tokugawa Ieyasu assumed the title of Sei-te Shogun and established a new shogunate in Edo. The center of the realm shifted from Osaka to Edo. Inside the massive Osaka castle, Toyotomi Hideyori, son of Toyotomi Hideyoshi, still dreamed of ruling the realm, but it was merely a shattered mirage. In 1614, Ieyasu found his final pretext to completely eradicate the Toyotomi clan. The pretext was an inscription on a bell at Hokoji Temple, reconstructed by Hideyori, which contained the phrase Koka Enko, national peace and tranquility. Ieyasu claimed that splitting the characters of his name Ari and Yasu was an intentional curse upon him. This was not a prayer for peace, but a declaration of the final war. Masterless samurai ronin from across the nation gathered under the Toyotomi banner for one last decisive battle. Among them was the legendary general Sanada Yukimura, who constructed a fortification called the Sanada Maru outside the castle perimeter, fiercely holding off Tokugawa's massive army. However, when Ieyasu's modern cannons bombarded the main keep, terror inside the castle reached its peak, ultimately leading to a precarious peace treaty. Immediately after the negotiations, Ieyasu cleverly exploited the terms of the treaty to render Osaka Castle virtually defenseless. Although the agreement explicitly specified filling in only the outer moat, Ieyasu sent his own troops under the guise of speeding up the process to help, proceeding to fill in both the middle and inner moats as well. Despite protests from the Toyotomi side, Ieyasu pressed on with the work, making excuses such as moats are unnecessary in an era of peace, or the laborers misunderstood the orders. As a result, in just 1 month, Osaka Castle was reduced from a formidable fortress to the defensive equivalent of an ordinary mansion. This became the decisive reason for the Toyotomi clan's helpless defeat in the Siege of Osaka Summer Campaign just a few months later. With its moats filled, Osaka Castle was no longer an impregnable fortress. In the summer of 1615, cornered with no way out, Sanada Yukimura led a crimson-armored cavalry unit in a legendary charge directly toward Ieyasu's main headquarters. Leaving behind the tribute of being called Japan's #1 warrior, Yukimura fell in battle, and with him, the last hope of the Toyotomi was crushed. Inside the flame-engulfed main keep of Osaka Castle, Hideyori and his mother, Yododono, ended their own lives. It was the moment Hideyoshi's golden glory turned to ash. As the fires of Osaka died down, the 150 years of conflict that had consumed the archipelago finally subsided. The victor Tokugawa Ieyasu did not chase extravagant gold as Hideyoshi had. Instead, he chose a cold, steadfast order. In 1616, sensing that his life was coming to an end, Ieyasu quietly passed away at Sunpu Castle. True to his famous words, "Life is like carrying a heavy burden on a long journey," he achieved his grandest accomplishment at the end of endurance. The greatest legacy Ieyasu left behind was the Bukushohata laws for the military houses. The logic of the Sengoku period where the sword rule vanished, and law and etiquette began to govern the daimyo. The Sankin-Kotai system forced the daimyo to drain their financial resources, while paradoxically giving rise to a nationwide road network and commercial development centered around Edo. The flame-like reign sparked by Toyotomi Hideyoshi faded before a single generation could pass, but the heavy foundation laid by Tokugawa Ieyasu remained unshaken for over 260 years. The conclusion of the turbulent Sengoku period was not a mere shift in power, but the moment the structural framework of the nation of Japan was truly completed.